Hello, it's Davy Mooney coming to you from the University of North Texas, where I run the jazz guitar program. I'm a Benedetto artist, Sunnyside Records artist. The word is out. On Sunnyside, this is the latest. Me and Ko Omura, great drummer and composer, a friend of mine from the Tokyo area. John Ellis, Matt Closey, Glenn Zaleski. You can pick up a physical copy or stream on Spotify, Apple Music, which sounds better, etc. And I've got 5 other Sunnyside records. Man, wow, I've got 6 of them now. Going back to Perrier Street in 2012. Yikes. And 2 Mel Bay books, Personalizing Jazz Vocabulary and Into the Labyrinth. The new Mel Bay book is basically done just tinkering with little things, to get it ready for publication on jazz phrasing. I think the title is going to be How to Achieve Great Jazz Phrasing, a Practical Method. So, just a very direct, practical, to the point title. So anyway, it's the spring 2025 semester here. This is maybe the second week. I'm getting back in teaching shape after my sabbatical semester, which is very nice. I'm enjoying being back though, and just dealing with music, great students. We got a bunch of senior recitals. I've got some gigs coming up in early February in New York at Smalls Jazz Club with Ko, and then down here in Texas for a few gigs. I'll be posting about that very soon on all my social media. And I want to talk about something a little different today. I mean, usually, I talk about specific tunes, and I have some lined up to do pretty soon this semester. I got some Billy Strayhorn, I got Daydream and Star-Crossed Lovers, bunch of stuff. But I wanted to talk about something that has come up a few times with students. Sometimes I assume there's certain things that people know that they don't necessarily know. And one of those is just how to play quartal harmony, in other words, chords voiced in fourths, and how to approach that and apply that in your comping and even in your single note playing on the guitar. And it was something that was very important to me, like I said, in terms of voicing chords, and also just kind of learning the fretboard this way, because I was so much of a caged position person when I was learning the fretboard and learning the scale shapes. But voicing really like major scales in fourths, going this way up the neck, really helped to open things up for me. And also the idea of having what I think of as consistent sequences of intervals going this way up the neck. I know some people do the drop system, and I never really thought about it that way, or I just didn't know that term. But I always, if there was a voicing that I liked the sound of, I would try to keep the interval structure the same as I ascended different types of scales, starting with major scales and melodic minor, harmonic minor. So in terms of just I don't want to make this video too long, but I just wanted to talk about how I got the quartal harmony thing. So let's take the C major scale, and I just want to take these middle 3 strings here, like 4th, 3rd, and 2nd. Of course, I've got a 7th string, so you can ignore that. So if I start down here with E, A, D, those 3 notes are in the C major scale, and it's the lowest fretted notes on those 3 strings that I can get in the C major scale, and they're in 4th, right? In this case, perfect 4ths, although as you ascend the scale, you're going to have the augmented 4th in there periodically between F and B. So if I have E, A, D, if I go up to the next note of the scale on each string, so I'm keeping the interval structure the same, 4th, 4th. Then in this case, the next one, the first interval is an augmented 4th, because if I want to keep it C major, I've got to have a B natural, right? If I do a B flat, then it's not C major anymore. So, and then as I keep ascending, I've got this shape again, this shape again, this shape again. So on that those middle 3 strings, you've got a lot of the perfect 4th, right? Because there's a lot of perfect 4ths in the major scale. And then here, it's a little different because again, I've got that F to B augmented 4th interval. So I'm harmonizing the C major scale in perfect 4ths rather than in 3rds, which of course on the guitar are very hard to, or even on those middle strings, you can kind of like give yourself a hernia trying to play them. But that would be harmonizing the C major scale in thirds, right? And so that's the middle three strings. We can add a note, add the first string, and you have a different set of shapes. Again, some that repeat and some that don't. So you have this one. Again, I'm just adding a note on the first string, another perfect fourth. So here's a new shape. So I've got this. This is the same as this, but when I add the note on the first string, I have to have that augmented fourth, because it's F to B. This one, which is the same as that one, right? Same thing again. Then we have this. Then this one again. So again, you have a lot of repetition of that shape. And I can keep going, you know, I could go down here, another perfect fourth. Again, this is all diatonic to C major. The same as that one. And so I think about those in terms of the chords that they represent. So if I play this and the bass player plays a C, or I play a C on my 7th string, it's a C major, right? If the bass player played an E, it's a kind of E minor. If the bass player plays an F, it's an F6. I mean, there's a lot of different things that it could be. Bass player plays a G, it could be a G6-9. There's a lot of things it could be. Even in another key, if the bass player plays B flat, it's a B flat major 7 sharp 11 or flat 5. So this chord here we maybe see as like the top part of a G13 voicing that we learn on guitar, or a D6-9. This one, you know. So all these chords can be a lot of different things. This could be like D minor 11, right? But if the bass plays an A flat, it's now an A flat major 6 with a flat 5. Bass player plays a B flat, it becomes a B flat 6-9. Plays a G, it's kind of a G sus. This one up here is kind of a cool voicing for G7 or G7 sus, D minor 6-9. So those are really really nice voicings. And in another context, and this is maybe analogous to the way I think about the cage system, in the sense that in one area of the neck I want to be able to play, say I want to go from C major, and then if the song shifts to the key of G, I don't want to have to just move that shape all the way up to G. I want to be able to play G here, and then I want to be able to play F here. I want to be able to play B flat here, and so forth. Pretty much every key, right, that I need for the song that I'm improvising on. Likewise with the quartal, the harmony and force, and this came up the other day when I was playing Tones for Jones Bones with a student. So at the beginning of Tones for Jones Bones, you have over a D pedal, right? You have a D major 7 or D6-9, let's say D Ionian, if you're going to think of a chord scale, and then G minor over D. And so it's kind of like the F major chord scale. You can think of it as G Dorian, or I guess D Aeolian. So when thinking about comping chords and quartal harmony, I was showing a student how, if you start down here, so take D major, the D major scale, it's going to be those same shapes as we saw in C major, but they're going to be in a different order, right? And there's actually going to be some overlap, because the key of D and the key of C are very similar. The only difference is the notes C sharp and F sharp, right? Key signatures, you all remember? So this is actually the same first chord. So I've got, without using an open string, I could start at an open string, but I don't want to do that. So here's D. Right, it's kind of like A7, which is the 5 chord in D, so that makes sense. You can start relating these to actual chord voicings, like maybe that's E minor 7, the 2 chord in C, in D, 3 chord. Now we got, that could be the G major, 4 chord. There's the dominant again, maybe. Right, so it's the same same shapes as the C major. But say you were comping and you wanted to comp with that quartal harmony over the D major part, and then when it goes to D Aeolian, you want to switch to F major. So it's actually, again, there's some similarities, right? Because between D major and F major, there are some similar notes, right? F major has a 1 flat, B flat. D major has B natural, but it has C sharp and F sharp. So, but they do share this this shape here. So here's F major. And here's D major. So if you're copying, I'll just go back and forth between. So let's imagine that 1, 2, 3, 4, like that tempo, 2 bars of D major, and then 2 bars of the D Aeolian sound. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. But then this one is D major, but this is F major. So I think that's really important to do. I mean, you could practice it in so many different contexts. Like say you're playing an F blues. So the first chord, F7, that's F mixolydian, right? So key of B flat. Then when it goes to B flat 7, that's the key of, what do you call it? I have a brain cramp here. Key of E flat, right? So, say it's an F blues, I'll just kind of do the 1 chord and the 4 chord. Obviously, you can do other chords too, but I don't want to make this too complicated. So if I have F7, 1, 2, F blues, and go. B flat 7, back to F7, so you have C7, maybe it's that kind of blues, just a 1, 4, 5 blues, so F7, B flat 7, F7, C7, B flat 7, F7. So it's a cool, maybe kind of McCoy Tyner 60s and 70s harmony in fourths. It's just a really cool sound, and you can mix that in with your other voicings, right? Like sometimes I'll have the fourths, but then maybe I'll have a third on top. Like I might go. So it's F7 again. So key of B flat. I'm keeping the interval structure the same on those middle 3 strings, and actually on top too. If I add, instead of another fourth, I add a third on top. You get these shapes. Right when it goes to B flat, back to F. Maybe I want the fourths again. C7, B flat 7, fourths, F7. So, and in terms of improvising, I was playing, I have a video on my YouTube channel where I'm improvising on the tune Matrix, which is a Korea tune, and I was trying to play a lot of like fourths. I was playing a blues, it's an F blues, and I was just trying to use that type of harmony in my improvising because it's kind of more open sounding and it kind of fits with the era, right? Like late 60s, 70s. always mix it in with some bebop too. I never get that far away from bebop. But that starting with that quartal harmony and being able to really just play in major keys, chord scales, harmonize things in fourths on those middle three strings. That's where I started. I mean, you can also do it with other types of scales. But that led me to this idea of, well, okay, I'm keeping the interval structure constant, right? So, and I'll leave you with this because, like I said, I don't want to make the video too long. But I was like, well, okay, fourths sound cool. What about, say, for instance, I really like the sound of this chord. So, say it's a B flat major sound. So I have a B flat, a C, and an F. And the interval structure is a second, right? And then a fourth. So instead of fourth, fourth, it's second, fourth. So if I take that through the key of B flat, and I have to lean over a little bit so I don't hurt myself because there's some stretches. So I could go. Especially that one. So what if I was a C Dorian, right? B flat major is C Dorian. Play off that. Maybe mix in some chromatic. Mix in my fourths. Some bebop. So that's kind of how that's how I did a lot of things. I guess, over the years it just starts snowballing, but the quartal harmony was really important for me to start thinking this way, start thinking about consistent like interval structures through chord scales, and maybe it sort of gave my playing a more modern, that's kind of a funny term to use, but that's sort of how we refer to, 60s jazz, like post hard bop, everything up till like the present day, right? To a certain extent, post bebop, post hard bop harmony, fourths are a big part of that, and those consistent interval structures. So I urge you all to at least be able to harmonize major scales and all the modes of the major scales by, if you know the major scale, you know all the modes in your fingers. You just have to get it into your skull, so to speak. But I think that's really helpful, and I'm encouraging my students to do that. So, all right, y'all, take care.